Welcome to this very special edition of The Author's Voice with KAJ, a show where we explore the stories behind the stories. Here we dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us author Kristin Massey. She's also a globally known recording artist, also a stand-up comedian, and also a recipe developer and food writer, and much more. But we'll be talking about her book today, the JOAT Life Lessons from a Jill of All Trades. Welcome to the show, Kristin.
Thank you, AJ. Thanks for having me back. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show once again, this time on the Author's Voice with KJ. Kristin. So firstly, you have had a very busy life still. So I want to understand a bit of about the story about becoming an author. That takes a lot of time. How did you think about that? Already your hands were full with so many things that you were doing. So tell us about what inspired you to become an author.
Ever since college, I've wanted to be a short story writer. And I love O. Henry, Henry James, all the way to Jhumpa Lahiri. I just love all great short stories. I love a good short story. And I thought I should try my hand at it. And during the process of writing a short book of short stories, which I may return to at some point, the joke came to me fully formed. And I just decided that would take precedence and I'd have to set the book of short stories aside. And I'm very glad I did because it poured out of me in the course of a year. And I have made a lot of people happy so far. I think it's gotten a really good response. And I'm trying to help people. And I feel that that's what's happening when they read it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's come straight to the book itself, the story itself, and that is where we'll come to about your book, the JOAT. The JOAT, Life Lessons from a Jill of All Trades. Tell us about this. About this JOAT thing. What does it mean? In your own words, so that people know. Okay, this is what Kristin wants to talk about. Nowadays, there is word called famous. The goat part, and this time it's the JOAT part. So tell us about this JOAT part.
Well, being a jack or Jill of all trades is something that can really help you in your life. It can make you more valuable to everyone around you, really, and more interesting and more fun to be with. But you'll notice, AJ, that the name of the book is not How to Be a Jill of All Trades or You Should Be a Jill of All Trades. It's Life Lessons from a Jill of All Trades. So although the tentpole is skill stitching and being a Jill of all trades, I'm very happy if you just choose one of the things, or if you just want to read the book as a philosophy book or just a self-help book, because I start each chapter with a quote that has meant very much to me in my life. And I hope to introduce people to these quotes and have them think twice about things in their life. I do if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, when I start the failure book, the failure chapter. And if you've watched Wimbledon this week, you know that that's up on the wall there, because triumph and disaster are imposters. We are just trying to get through life as normal people. We're never that great and we're never terrible, And it's important to remember. Rudyard Kipling.
Absolutely. So I want to understand, what is it that you want people to know through your book? What is it? Is it about becoming still stitching? Is it about accepting failures and success in your stride, and much more? Tell us about what is it that you want to achieve through your book.
I would say the thread throughout the book, beside, as I told you, the tentpole is skill stitching, is failure and how to handle it. That's the self-help part. But there's nothing new under the sun in self-help. Everyone has their own way of bringing people along and helping them out. There's all sorts of titles and all sorts of names. And mine is the JOAT. And inside it, I have something called the 3 cliches, where I poke fun of myself because it's self-help without the sanctimony here at the JOAT. Passion, perseverance, and putting it out there. The 3 cliches instead of cliches. And I just want people to know I'm not taking myself that seriously, but I'm very serious about you having a great life and living your best life, to quote Oprah, and just enjoying what you have to offer and enhancing it with multiple skills.
Absolutely. So, what's in the book? Yeah, is it about quotes? Is it about much more beyond that? Where does all your skills reflect there? Even about as a food writer and recipe developer, stand-up comedian, do they all reflect in this book, Christine?
Absolutely. So, what I did was I sat down, and I'm not a famous person, so no one wants to hear every little nook and cranny about my life. I wrote down everything that I thought was important in my life for people to either learn from, be entertained by, or laugh at. And I built my structure of the book with those items. It was at least 100 things. And then I put little stories around each one. It was either a success for me, which you can enjoy with me and see how you can do that too, or it was an epic failure, which is oftentimes a little bit funny the way I tell you about it, especially in comedy and the things that happened to me during being a comedian for 4 years. And then if you can learn from my mistakes and learn from my successes, I've done my job, because I think that the entire thing is a package. And you've mentioned some of the things we go through, the comedy, the writing, the cooking, the voiceover. It's always something that I think, will a stranger be interested in this? Not someone that knows me. A stranger has to be caught up in it and think, wow, I'm so glad I wrote that. I read that. I'm glad she wrote the book. And that was my goal. And from the reviews, I feel I've done it. But the reviewers always say something. They go, she brings us along and wants us to do well too, which is the biggest compliment I could ever get on this book.
Right. So, when you talk about skills stitching, Christine, how do you want people to understand skill stitching? Is it about learning more skills, or is it about stitching whatever skills you have? Because learning a lot of skills will also sometimes, take them out of their focus area.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that oftentimes you already have the skills that I'm encouraging you to stitch together. Sometimes a third skill could come in handy, and it may be obvious to you as you skill stitch your two favorite things together. It doesn't really matter how many there are, and I'm not trying to get you a trophy or badges like a girl, 100 things. It doesn't have to be like that. It's just to enhance and improve what you already do, or what you've always wanted to do, and now you can add it to your skill set.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, to understand your writing process, how was your whole writing experience? Was there anything that during the writing research that surprised you about the topic or about yourself? Any challenges that you think you would want to mention during this whole process?
Well, because it was about my life, it wasn't hard to come up with material. But what we did talk about last time is the chapter on passion and perseverance. Passion and uh, just putting it out there, because I felt that there were times in my life when I felt that being a creative wasn't good enough. I say in the book, is there any moment that can make you feel less proud of your chosen career than sitting waiting for someone you love to get out of surgery? The doctors are so good at what they do, and without them, your loved one could vanish from the earth, and you couldn't do anything about it. I always feel like I've chosen the wrong career when I'm in a situation like that, because they seem almost godlike, almost like the most important people in the world. But then I realize, and I say this in the book, that there is another side to life. Doctors get off work. They need to be entertained. They need to recharge. And that's what we're all here for, to write books that they love, to make movies that they love. And I've seen this more and more in the zeitgeist. People are talking about passion and practicality more and more. And that's why I'm so thrilled I wrote the chapter, because I feel like I've tapped into a vein with it. And I think that you've written a few amazing blogs and articles on this as well, which I recommend everyone check out. There's something going on, especially probably with AI coming into our lives, that we want more, and we're looking for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, to understand in a nutshell, what do you want readers of your book to take away from this?
I think that I help people who are down, who aren't having their prom night, who aren't having their best day. That's the most important thing I think I'm talking to people, not at the peak of their life. There are other books for that. These are for people who feel like they're missing something from their life or could be doing better. And I say little philosophical things. Yes, it's not all about quotes, but I do start each chapter with a very inspiring quote. And I tell people that Abraham Lincoln, one of America's greatest presidents, heard from a guy in Indiana, a state of all things, "When I do good, I feel good. And that is my religion." And it's really a powerful statement because if you do good, you actually feel good. And if you're feeling down, I tell people to learn something or fix something. Don't sit there and wallow in your own self and your own self-pity and turn inward. Go and learn something online or fix something. Fix a squeaky door that's always been bothering you. You'd be very surprised what that does for your spirit. The fact that you took the initiative to do something and fix something and change something in your world, even if it's just in your apartment.
Absolutely, absolutely. Two things I'll talk. Firstly, is about about your admiration for the medical community. Even earlier during the show, you talked about how what how do you look at the medical community and why so much of admiration. I know it is everyone has that whole admiration for them, but why in your particular say uh, experience that you talk about?
Well, doctors have helped my family a great deal in a way that a creative could not have done. And my cousin Tim was a spine surgeon for his whole career until he had an early retirement, but people would fly in from all over the world. And I used to think, wow, we come from the same family, and yet he knows how to connect a spine so that someone's leg moves again. You know what I mean? What am I doing? But we love each other and we're in the same family and we enjoy each other's company. So I just feel like I have to say that people that think of creatives when they're in a hospital may think that's an unserious profession. And there was even a show on Apple TV called The Studio, and they went into that in one of the episodes where the main character is at a function for doctors and they all say to him, "Oh, Hollywood, it doesn't do anything. The medical profession is everything." And he ends up going to the hospital that night. And as they close the ambulance doors at the foot of his stretcher, he goes, "I may be going to the hospital, but I guarantee you there will be a television on the wall at that hospital to help people heal with movies." So he's saying that creatives play a role as well.
Absolutely. And connecting with stitching, how should uh, one stitch their skills in a manner that one focus is there and then all other skills are stitched around it? Or should one stitch everything together and then see what comes out of it? What is the best way to look at stitching? And when we talk about the human body, means is everything around the brain, if that is when understand in terms of skills, how do you find the brain amongst all your skills?
I think that your main skill is the loom. That is, that it's the structure, that all the new little things that you learn and want to do fold through, and you're pressing that loom and creating the tapestry of your life as you add new, not just skills, but experiences. Because I think the most interesting people, captains of industries, if you ask what they've done with their life, people don't just go from point 0 to 60. They take all sorts of turns and twists in their life. And I love the fact that almost any CEO has had a varied life. I just heard a podcast today where you couldn't believe one of these guys, what they did in the dishwasher and, things that they did at a tire store. You have to learn about people. And you have to learn about the way the world works. And the way to do this is to get into many pursuits.
Absolutely. And we talked about AI also. You mentioned about in terms of skills teaching and artificial intelligence. Is AI helpful here or is AI a problem here? How should one look at skills teaching part and artificial intelligence if anyone has to look at it?
I think it's not a problem at all for creative people. I think it's for people who are relying on it for their ideas and for their term papers, it's terrible. But if you have an imagination, AI is just merely a tool like everything that's come along that people would say would ruin the world. If you really have a brain and you can create, AI is an amazing tool. And the whole time, I know Elon Musk just said that AI is PhD level in I watched the launch of Grok 4. He may have, they may be a PhD in everything on Grok, but they're not coming up with any ideas on their own yet. I'll tell you when I think that it can go against a human as far as creativity, and it's not yet.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let's move on from this. You have written one book. Any other book in the pipeline? Anything else that you are doing? You want the world to know about, Kristin?
Yes, two things. One, within the book, there's something called fooditude, and it's on my website as well, where I use what we're now told are the most healthy ingredients, lacking seed oils and lacking a lot of wheat, and creating delicious current recipes that people can thrive on. And that may spin off, because of my history in food science, into its own book, the JOAT Fooditude. And that would be a recipe book and an inspirational and a book that would tell you how to cook and how to eat. And also, my husband and I are thinking of writing, now that we're both authors. I wasn't before, but now that we're both authors, we're thinking of writing a book together about being a couple who writes.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's much to learn about all these things, or about the book, as well as all the things that you are doing and are coming into the future. So what's the best way for people who would want to connect with you?
Well, definitely go to thejotebook.com and you can reach me there, or you can go to @thejotebook on X or Kristin Massey on LinkedIn. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you there.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KAJ. Thank you so much indeed for joining
Thank
us.
you, AJ.